Hi Emacs Conference. I'm Lidell. I'm the maintainer of GNU Hyperbole together with the author Bob Weiner. The title of the talk is Fun Things with GNU Hyperbole. With that, I intend to cover a different set of small things that is in the package. So this will not be a tutorial of Hyperbole. For that you have to look for other sources. And this is a short talk, so let's get started with the first thing. So we're going to talk about scrolling and with the subtitle using the end of line. If you're new to Hyperbole, you need to know about the action key and assist key. The action key is bound to meta return and the assist key is bound by default to meta return with the prefix argument. So both of these keys are used for performing actions on different contexts. And in this case, we'll look what happens when you use it on the end of a line. So I have here the tutorial, the Emacs tutorial, and we see here a line inserting and deleting. I move there and put the cursor on the end of the line. I then hit meta return, the action key, and it's moved to the top of the window. If I want to move it to the last row on the window, I can press Ctrl U and then meta return. So I use the assist key. If I repeatedly hit meta return, it will scroll. So the first time it moves to the top of the window. But if I at the top of the window hits meta return again, it scrolls. Now over to the next thing. So next thing is to compose an email from an address of the style of username at domain. Let's look into that. So here I have entered the file in the Emacs distribution, version control EL, and at its top it has a lot of different email addresses from the contributors. This is in principle a normal text file, and by placing the cursor over one of these addresses and hitting the action key, Hyperbole identifies that it's an email address and tries to open or opens the email composer with that, using that email address. And if we'll go to the scratch buffer, I prepared another name there, so just to demonstrate it works in any buffer the same way. The next fun thing is insert implicit link. I'm going to give you an example with email, how to share an implicit link with someone. An implicit link is a text pattern, just as we saw with the email address, something that Hyperbole recognizes just by how the text looks. So here we have the example. We have started with writing an email to the user at domain, and in the other window below, the version control EL file is open. It's now opened within the search path, the load path, so that's why it's compressed. And I want to tell my friend about the credit section. So first the cursor is placed here at the credit section. I move over to the other window and I use the Hyperbole menu system. So by hitting Ctrl H, I go into the menu system. I press I for getting an I button, implicit button. and I press L for creating a link, and there you have the link. So what does that link mean? Well, it means that in the load for Hyperbole, Emacs files are special. If they are in the load path, they will use this short format. And at the end, you have the L for the line number 24 and the C for the column. So if I hit the action key on this line, you can see that the cursor moves over to the credit section. We can remove that file just to make sure that it works, and move the cursor a little bit and hit alt return again, or meta return, and we moved over there. So given that the receiver has a similar setup with Emacs, etc., that link will work there as well. Hi Emacs conference. It's a new recording day. The sun is shining. I'm wearing a new t-shirt, but we're still cracking on with fun things in Hyperbole. Our next subject is window grid. So with Hyperbole, it's easy to create a grid of windows. I'm going to show how you can do that, and also moving on, I'm going to show how you can use DIRED or iBuffer to select what buffers to show in the grid. And I will also show how you can save configuration for use later. You reach the window grid functionality through the Hyperbole menu system. So Ctrl+H, screen. There you have two submenus, frame control and window control. The grid functionality is part of both of these submenus. You can select either, but I go with window control here. And down to the left, we see the at character and the grid of windows. So hit at, and I'm prompted with the number of columns and rows for the window grid, which I select 3x3 grid. And we get the 3x3 grid, and it's populated with buffers I have loaded in Emacs. So let's go back here to the scratch buffer. Now using all those keystrokes for the menu system is a little bit cumbersome, so there is a shortcut, Ctrl+C at, and if I use that, Ctrl+C at, I get immediately prompted with the number of rows and columns. If I use a prefix arg 0, Ctrl+U 0, Ctrl+C at, I get also prompted with what type of buffers I want to have populated in my grid. So let's select the Emacs list mode. Again, we do a 3x3 grid, and here you see all the grids, or the whole grid is populated with Emacs list buffers. To get even finer control, you can go into iBuffer, and I have pre-selected here all the Emacs list files I have. So let's pick a few, like I mark them like this. Let's pick 3, or maybe pick 4, and then I hit the at sign, and then it automatically shows a 2x2 grid with the selected buffers. We can go in again and maybe select a few more and do the same thing, hit at, and it now becomes a 3x2 grid with these buffers. The same thing is possible through DIRED, so let's just mark quite a few here, and then hit at, and then it populates it with all the buffers. And you see that if it's not enough buffer to fill the whole grid, there are blank grids or rectangles in the grid. Now going back and forth like this, maybe if you want to work on some file and then go over to Direct again to select this can be a little bit cumbersome. You maybe have prepared a grid with the buffers you want to have there. Then the Hyperbole comes with a simple window configuration support, and you reach that the same way through the Hyperbole menu, so Control H and window, W for window, and there you can hit save to save the configuration to a ring of configurations. So let's go back to like the scratch buffer again here, and now we want to sort of bring up our window configuration again, so we hit Control H and window and yank in the configuration, and boom, there is the grid again. We're reaching the end of the talk. The last fun thing I want to talk about is the Hyperbole support for select the thing, and we'll show some use of selections together with web search. So here I have brought up the GNU General Public license for just getting some text that I can show the select the thing functionality. So let's move the cursor over the word versions, and then I hit Control C return, which is bound for the select the thing functionality. Then it selects the word that the cursor was at. If I hit it again, Control C return, it selects the line, and again it selects the sentence, and again the whole paragraph. So that's a convenient way to extend your searches or your selections rather in a buffer. Looking at selections, how you can use that from web search. Let's mark some text and then hit Control C /, which is bound for the web search. Here you see the Hyperbole menu system again. It's slightly customized with things that I use, but the basic menus are the one supported by Hyperbole. So let's look at searching DuckDuckGo, and it then populates the prompt with the selection. And I have configured it so it uses my Firefox for these searches. Here we have the GNU General Public license shown. I can also show that for like me, being not a native English speaker, let's look what take away your freedoms means in Swedish. So Control C / and then I hit translate. Take away your freedom, yeah, what's the translation for that? Yeah. Using Google Translate, I get it translated to Swedish. That was the whole talk. We reached the end, and thanks for listening. Bye.